So then we are back with more understanding from the time of the Second Tabernacle services, where we find in the Aramaic English translation of the word. This translation comes from the original manuscripts of the prophets of the Tzayelic lineage. So then we can understand the time of the end as per Yeshayahu the prophet, the 61st chapter. Then we find a layer of understanding of the restoration of the cities of the Messiah laid waste for many centuries. Those are then tabernacling. Why do we say plural or singular? Because combination of the first holy service and the second holy services, thus tabernacling. So then, we find ourselves transitioning then the governments back onto the holy schedule. We understand then the Creator is providing a system where thousands upon thousands of people can then have jobs online. They can invest themselves. With a very tiny amount of investment, you can start doing trade in the system. So then, understanding this viewpoint, we must then start then our inventory of what then we should do as far as the threat of the downloading of the new system. It's not a situation of war or a situation of atomic bomb or a situation of a military invasion. It is a simple internet download in computers and starting then doing trade directly. So then, let's evaluate our government. The whole government, no exception. What are they doing then to protect our people from this? The question is very simple. They are doing nothing. They are walking around as big shots, as important people, and the whole government combined, they are as stupid as a telephone pole. What are they doing for us, protecting us from this new system? Don't they realize direct trade involves computer? Don't they realize then the retailers are complaining because not enough trade is coming through? Are they not aware of? People are not spending as much as they should have? Does not the government realize people are purchasing online and not receiving any taxes? So the main question is, why having a government for? And for how much longer are we going to overextend ourselves worldwide and then ruining our system? This nation never experienced economical breakdown. As far as the 29 crash, it wasn't a big deal. Comparing with the complicated system of today, it wasn't a big deal. Because we were dealing with straight people back then, raw materials, and then raw workers. This means the plain understanding of working. There were many work ethics back then, and people did the work. Today we don't have anymore as much work ethics as in the past. What you have is people walking around, big shots, with a piece of paper in their hand and not wanting to do the work. That's why our government is absolutely incompetent. And they think we are stupid. Don't they realize we have radios at home? We understand shortwave radio stations. We are listening to what's coming from every part of the world. Or the government is so then naive, understanding, oh, America is boxed up. Nobody's listening anymore. The government is incompetent and should be replaced. There is so much of it, so many of them, and decisions can be made. That's the problem of having an overextended democratic system. It is so far apart and nothing gets done. People complain, because socialism then is harsh. You know, sometimes a semi-socialist system can work very nicely, because the other side of it is having so much democracy and nothing gets done. The system became so bureaucratically complicated, it doesn't get done. The very basics of then tackling internet sales, it doesn't get done. There is no evaluation, there is no push forward for, there is no upgrading of our taxation system. And what is the government expecting? Somebody coming from heaven and then drop down their laps then a plan? Don't they understand what it takes to understanding then this system coming? Direct trade and then proper taxation, don't they understand? And then freighting must be then instant taxation system. It's a pure novel. The government is a novel, the worst novel this nation ever experienced. Because the basics are not being done. The basics. Retailers are complaining. Let's evaluate. You take a clipboard, from the time of the 40s, during the time of the Second World War. You know those clipboards is a piece of board with a clip on top of it, spring loaded. Maybe the government doesn't understand what it is. And then a piece of paper, cellulose, comes from, chopped down logs, then you make a paste out of it, then comes out paper. And then writing down, why are then the retailers complaining? What is the reason? Not enough trade. So where does the trade then stock at? Internet trade, are they taxing? So thus far the government is stupid. They are there for protection of the profits, and they don't do what they should be doing. Our government is a mockery. And then we are treating China as we were then treating Japan during the Second World War, as if then China was involved with the set up postings in the South Pacific then for war. Are we gone mad? Don't we understand Chinese, they are not involved with the war. They want trade. And we've lost. We lost our ability of do trade. We are not producing. Now, the government then has mesmerized the people thinking, the Chinese are coming because they are very powerful, as if they were mounting an army in the Pacific. Yes, they have their armies as any other country, but they are not interested in military emancipation. So why are we treating them as if they were Japan during the Second World War for? Don't we understand how to control the power? Or we want to display it every time? Bankrupt power. So why have we not done the basics? Starting with taxation, upgradation of our taxation system. And obviously freighting, because freight is going to be important. People are purchasing products online and the government is not being paid taxes. If you would ask the average American, to say, fire the whole government. They are worth nothing. Our government was never unkind, but certainly incompetent. We are facing with a time in the very near future where a simple download of a system in our computers takes over the entire government. And they are concerned with a couple of farts over there in Boston. They understand what it meant. How much has the government wasted in these bombing over there? Let's evaluate FBI, CIA, special services. And they made a novel of it. We haven't yet in the computer yet a novel of those situations. And we are not taxing as we should have. How are we going to maintain our government? You know what the government is making a target out of? The freighters of this country. You know, UPS, FedEx, and those responsible companies that they pay their dues, those are on the line. Do you know why they are on the line? Because there is a person, a Savior, the Messiah said in the Scripture, very simply, the freighters of the earth in the future would be in charge. Do you know what's going to take place in this country if our government does not do its job? Then the freighters are on the line. Then comes a problem. The government does not do its job. Then comes a time where you can download the computerized system in your own computer. Then you start doing your trade. Are you going to receive your parcel? Without the basic services, no roads, no maintenance, are you going to receive your parcel? The system must be integrated. The freighting system must be integrated with our national taxation system. What does it take to get this information in the cranium of the government? So far they have crap in their heads. They don't know what they are doing. The first 40 years, understandable. We were in debt before. It would take them a long time to get at least lined up. Then the second term, nothing is going on. Whatsoever was then done in the first 4 years, we are not even in the situation. In no plans of upgrading then our taxation and freighting at the same time. So the freighters of our country, they are on the line, liking it or not, because the government is thinking of going to the Ozarks. On an event of unrest, then the government then has a place to go. It's not an event of the Ozarks. The government is heading towards the Ozarks. But the problem is, what are they going to do from there when the new system becomes available in the computer? How are they going to charge taxes? So this government is so retarded, had to explain over and over again the same thing. Direct trade means you invest on products. You don't invest in a company. When you invest in your computer, there is a company providing those products, but your money does not go to the company, stays with the product. As the product then gets sold, so many of them, you get a tiny share of it. Direct trade. Obviously, it's not shown yet. The Chinese is guarding this for a long time. Because investing in a company means middleman. The middleman always screws up the system. Always charging more than should have. But if you eliminate then the middleman, then you receive more for what you invest. Thus then direct trade. Guarded secret. But then when this system becomes available, people then invest, earn, and purchase in the same system. How are you going to receive your parcel? How is the government going to charge taxes? Let me ask you this. Can the government go around, for instance, in eBay or Amazon and sneak around in your dealings? No, they can't, because you are protected. You are linked up with, for instance, PayPal. It's also protected. It's a closed circuitry. How is the government then going to get taxes from? But then the government, they think they are so, so smart. Now how are they going to charge taxes? Don't we realize our industry can't no longer hold the system? Investors are dumping US stocks. No factory wants to come to US because it's very expensive. Is it not enough for evaluating, then doing inventory and upgrading our taxation system and then freighting at the same time? Simple usage of the tracking system of those freighting companies for charge taxes for. So when the system becomes available, then every time a person purchases, taxes are then deducted. That's how a government maintains itself. You can get products from China and pay not a dime in taxes. Not only you can get it delivered to your home, then even the US government can do the delivery for you. And then you turn around and have the products then sold for 500% markup, and the government does not get a dime. Speaking of stupidity, huh? And confronting the situation is not coming against the government. It's trying to protect the stupid government. Because somebody has brains enough then to indicate what's coming. It's a form of protection. So if you think, because this guy's against us. Against you? Knucklehead, stupid you. If we understand what's coming in the future, a person is speaking, it's because a person cares. But then if we don't replace the government, how are we going to get the job done?